Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your TNA Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. But first, some breaking news with TNA. Okay, we start off with Bully Ray has actually signed a new contract, according to Mike Johnson of PWInsider.com. Terms of the deal have not been disclosed. As you know, Ray works as an in-ring talent and behind the scenes as a road agent. Meanwhile, Ray's longtime business and tag team partner Devon stated on Twitter a while back that he is no longer with the company. The Ray signing is key for TNA. He's arguably the best heel in pro wrestling industry. And my working theory is that Ray is behind the Aces and Eights faction. And may even come out on Bound for Glory as the new TNA champion. But that is not going to happen due to the results of the pay-per-view. Again, that's just a theory, and it's based on anything I've been told. Okay, the original source for this news item is from Mike Johnson of PW Insider. That's his prediction. Well, wrong so far. Shotgun Wrestling Radio had a interview with Roderick Strong, and he speaks on working with CM Punk and some other people. And the host of the show is Zach Tates and Zach Grigg. So you got Tates and Grigg. Zach and Zach. Audio available at recordings.talkshoe.com/TS-919-3//TS664085.mp3. Okay, he's Strong talks about how he got to start in the pro wrestling business. My story is different. That I got into wrestling, that my dad was a single dad, and his buddy called him and asked him to be a pro wrestler. He said, sure, why not? And they needed 3 students. He would take me over 3 times a week, and it ended up being at Jim Danville Neidhart's house. Eventually, just kept doing it, and it was something to do in the off season when I wasn't playing football. When the time came, I decided to do this full time. I went to IPW to continue my training and work for them for the time being. Who inspired Strong to get into wrestling? The radio host asked. I was a huge Bret Hart fan, but I'd say my dad since I would watch him do it. And I love wrestling just in general since I was a kid. Mostly the athleticism and the somewhat competitive part of that really attached me to it when I saw how hard these guys were working. And they asked him how he got involved with the Ring of Honor. IPW had a connection with Jersey All Pro Wrestling, and they would use each other's talent every once in a while. And one day they asked me if I wanted to work for Jersey All Pro. We said, sure, why not? Through that, I ended up meeting Dan Moff, and he worked for MLW, who told me that he thought my style would fit well in Ring of Honor, and he said he talked to Gabe Sapolsky for me. One day he said, if I could get myself to Philly, I could get a shot. And here's where he talks about CM Punk. He says, Punk is awesome. He really taught me a lot. He was someone that we had a couple of matches and I learned a lot. He taught me a lot, and he really encouraged me to be the best I can be. Heck, if you're going to be the best you can be, just join the army. I think it's funny when people say that they want about him, but he's really passionate about wrestling, and that was one of the coolest things about being able to work with CM Punk. And then they asked him about on the Sinclair buying portion of Ring of Honor. He said he was excited. That's the reason he's been with Ring of Honor as long as he has. It opens a lot of doors for him, and that he's super excited about. And it's moving forward. And I think they're learning how to be owners of a pro wrestling company while still being the best they can. Other topics in the interview was working with Daniel Bryan, Tyler Black, Austin Aries, and working in TNA and much, much more. Again, you can view the actual interview at the site I mentioned earlier. Ring of Honor show results featuring Matt Hardy during the show. From Charlotte, North Carolina at the Metrolina Trade Show Expo. Results by .net staffer Chris Shore. Match number 1. Jay Lethal defeated Adam Page. Match number 2. Mike Mondo beat QT Marshall. Match number 3. Cedric Alexander and Caprice Coleman defeated the Bravado Brothers. Match number 4. Mike Posey defeated JLN. And Shore didn't catch the name of Posey's opponent, but he had JLN in his trunk. JLN on his trunks. Match number 6, Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in a proving ground match. And your main event, Rhett Titus and the Briscoe brothers beat Kevin Steen, Jimmy Jacobs, and Steve Corino in a cage match. And the notes from the event says Davey Richards made an appearance. He was gracious and said he's embarrassed of the person he's been outside the ring over the past year. He said he's put his trust in the wrong people. He said he hasn't begun to fight and will be back. He also watched the proving ground match from ringside, and his bickering with the referee led to a distracted Adam Cole losing the match. And Matt Hardy and Ruby Sky were in attendance as well. Hardy and Steen delivered a promo for an upcoming PWX independent show. And now for your pay-per-view results from Orlando, Florida in the Impact Zone. The show opened with a footage of the remaining Battle for Glory participants arriving at the building earlier in the day. A video focused on the BFG series. Pyro was shot off above the ring and on the stage. Mike Tenay and Taz introduced the show. They showed the shots of the wrestlers arriving, similar to what you see in a big fight, boxing, or MMA show. Heck, even the NFL pregame show have jumped on board with similar clips of players arriving at the stadium. Match number 1, Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe in the Battle for Glory series. Semifinal is the first match. They jumped out to a good high energy start. Hardy leapt onto Joe at ringside and fired up the crowd. Back in the ring, Joe grabbed the offensive advantage and scored a couple of near falls. He showed frustration over not being able to put Hardy away following a good power slam. Hardy may be moonlighting on TNA if his makeup is any indication. He needs a couple of painted on whiskers and he can head right to the ring to a nearby theater for the performance of Cats. Hardy returned the favor with a good near fall of his own, but Joe caught him with a one-arm slam in the corner at the 11-minute mark. Hardy fired back with a twist of fate and took his shirt off. Hardy went to the ropes and tried to go for a swanton, but Joe popped up and swept Hardy's legs from underneath and got crotch shot on the top ropes. Hardy eventually got back and got the momentum going and applied a new submission hold at 12 minutes and 15 seconds in. But Samoa Joe slides out and right into a pin attempt. But Hardy countered by hooking his arms into a pinning position and for a clean pin. Afterwards, Joe looked frustrated, but eventually gave Hardy a thumbs up for the win. Jeff Hardy defeated Samoa Joe in 12 minutes 35 seconds to advance to the Battle for Glory Series Finals, which was your main event. Good opening match. TNA and Taz are off to a really good start. They enhanced the match by driving home the importance of the Battle for Glory Series. Joe continues to be the nicest loser in the wrestling business with his latest thumbs up to an opponent. The announcer spoke about the match and then turned things over to Jeremy Borash, who interviewed James Storm backstage. Storm cuts a brief promo in which he said, "It's his time." What's he trying to do? Be Vader? It's time. It's time. It's his time. Storm headed to the ring. The announcer showed the 4-man tournament graphic and noted that the winner of the upcoming match faces Hardy in the finals. Wow, way to start off the whole pay-per-view with the main two matches for the series. Bully Ray versus James Storm in the Battle for Glory Series semifinals match. The announcer spoke about Storm choosing Ray as his opponent because he earned the right to do so by winning the initial round of Battle for Glory Series. Ray mouthed off to the Storm, who responded by spitting in his face. Ray went to ringside and threw a fit by throwing down a fan's sign and tossing it in a chair. The crowd mocked Ray by chanting, "You got spit on." They locked up in the ring. Bully pushed Storm to the corner and slapped him, but Storm fired back with a punch. Ray sold it and acted frustrated. After 4.5 minutes of entertaining stall tactics, they got down to business. At 6 minutes 45 seconds, Storm missed a last call super kick and tipped, and his leg got caught in the ropes. Ray kicked him from behind and went on the offense. Ray applied a bear hug. Storm broke free and ran the ropes, only to eat a big boot from Bully. Well, at 9 minutes 45 seconds in the match, Ray was standing on the second rope and taking shots at Storm, who was down below him. Storm headbutted Ray below the belt and then powerbombed him for a 2 count. 11 minutes 30 seconds in, referee Earl Hebner was bumped. Ray hit the Bully bomb, went for a cover. Second referee came out, probably his son, and made a 2 count. Ray went for the back splash off the second rope and missed. Storm ran the ropes and went for a flying forearm. Ray moved, and the second referee took a forearm shot and rolled him out of the ring. Storm tried to revive Hebner. Ray tried to take advantage, but Storm saw him coming. Hebner was bumped moments later again. Storm hit his finisher and had the pin, but no referee was there. As Hebner was still down, as Storm was trying to revive Hebner, Bobby Roode came out, ran down and took a beer bottle. The Storm had already had it at ringside like he normally does, and nails James Storm with it and placed Bully on top of him for the win. So, screw job for the second match. Bully Ray defeated James Storm by beer bottle from Bobby Roode. The shit factor is what I call him. In 13 minutes 50 seconds that took out of our lives. So we got Bully Ray versus Jeff Hardy for your finals. Who's writing this crap? Vince Russo again? Must be Vince Russo Appreciation Night with all the referee bumps and the beer bottle shot. So we're still getting Storm versus Roode and Battle for Glory. Only without the TNA title, as I suspected. I was wrong on that one. But my pick of Hardy versus Ray in the finals was correct. In case you missed my picks, I took Ray. Actually, I myself picked James Storm, so I was totally wrong out of it. And So Bully Ray could still be revealed as a leader of Aces and Eights. Backstage, Borash interviewed Miss Tessmacher, who raved about her opponent, Tara, by saying she's been a mentor who has taught her everything. Tessmacher said she needed to prove herself that she could beat Tara. She said Tara beat her on open fight night, fair and square, and now she wants to prove the student can beat the teacher. Today ran through the tail of the tape. Bullet points. Match number 3. Miss Tessmacher versus Tara for the TNA Knockout title. Taz praised the work of ring announcer Christy Hemme. Tara Terrell was the referee for the women's match, as she will be for the remaining of her tenure. The teacher got the better of the students early. Tessmacher ended up rolling out to the floor. Tara held the ropes open for her, but then rolled her up from behind for a 2 count. Tessmacher yelled at Tara. "This is a championship match," Tara said. Tessmacher responded by yelling, "You're my best friend." Tara slapped her across the face. Later, Tara got upset when she couldn't get the pin after a superplex. Tara went for the widow's peak, but Tessmacher countered, rolled through, and got the 3 count. Tara left the ring abruptly following an awkward handshake. And that match took 6 minutes 45 seconds out of our lives. And she retains the TNA Knockouts title. Tara was the more likable of the two. Tessmacher seemed whiny, whereas Tara came across like she was it's just business mode. They seemed to reverse roles afterwards, with Tessmacher offering the handshake and Tara just going through the motions. Aside from the confusion, this is one of the better knockout title matches we've seen in quite a while. Of course, that's not saying much, but it was a solid match. Don't be surprised if you see a full-fledged Tara heel turn and a rematch of Bound for Glory. Backstage segment with Hogan yelling at Bobby Roode as security was escorting him out. Jay and Storm showed up and attacked Roode from behind. Security kept them apart as Hogan yelled that they needed to get both men out of the building. A video recap of the Aces and Eights attack. And actually, Hogan actually told the security officers to get him out of the building, get Bobby out of the building, and have him arrested. And then they threw him out of the ring. A-Double came to the ring for a promo dressed in street fight gear. He said tonight isn't about suits, title belts, or any of that BS. He said that there will not be a referee or pinfalls or submissions. He said it would be about pain and payback. He referred to himself as the God of War. Aries called out arm breaker of Aces and Eights. And it took several minutes for him to come out. So we get A-Double versus Armbreaker in a fight. Armbreaker finally comes out, walks to ringside through the crowd. He tried to enter the ring, but Aries kicked him away from the ring a couple of times. Goes all the way around the ring at least once. Aries backed off and then did his little laying across the corner turnbuckles and waits for him to actually get in the ring. And Aries rested on, like I said, rested on the ropes, waiting for him to enter. Armbreaker stood on the apron. Aries ran at him and kicked his legs out from underneath him. He hits his head on the side of the apron as his feet fall to the floor. Aries followed up with a suicide dive. Aries threw 3 punches at Armbreaker and then attempted to remove his mask, but Armbreaker low-blowed him. Armbreaker dominated the next couple of minutes and set up Aries for a power bomb, but Aries pulled out a bag of baby powder and dumped it all over Armbreaker's mask and into his eyes, of course. Armbreaker came back with a blow that knocked Aries to ringside. Aries reached down his pants again. Armbreaker grabbed a chair and entered the ring with it. Aries ducked the chair shot attempt and then struck Armbreaker with a roll of coins. Aries hit the big man with a brainbuster. Aries went for the mask, and it had it halfway off when he released it because of the group of aces and eights wrestlers ran in to make the save, pulled him out of the ring. Well, that emptied the locker room. All the wrestlers came out and fought with aces and eights. Guys, and TNA said he loved it because TNA finally banded together to fight a common enemy. Heels and faces, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. Everybody else was in attendance in the crowd. And you got the Beverly Hillbillies. Not. TNA wrestlers cleared the aces and eights and away from the ring. Bully Ray supposedly chased them off and remained on the floor and was just standing around staring. Hollywood Hogan walked to the ring with a baseball bat in his hand and started to talk. Well, Jeff Hardy was in the melee, and he was struck with a shoulder to the ring post by one of the aces and eights with a hood on his head. And Hogan was pointing the baseball bat as he started to talk, but Ray pointed out that Jeff Hardy was hurt. Taz said he couldn't see what happened to Hardy. Trainers checked on Hardy, who was selling an arm injury, which was actually a shoulder injury because his shoulder went into the ring post. Hogan told security to lock every door in the arena. Hardy was helped to the back. Ray walked up to Aries and bumped fists with him. 1 or 2 powers, activate. Because A-double was like still in the ring, and Bully Ray was up on the ring ropes. Had to up power. Well, the announcers set up footage of the Aces and Eights members picking up Hardy and running his shoulder into the ring post. TNA noted that Hardy is scheduled to compete in the finals for your main event. The announcers expressed concern for Hardy. A video setup of the X Division title match. And again, all signs pointing to Bully Ray, as he was Hogan even said he was the first man to see Jeff Hardy. The fight between A-double and Armbreaker lasted about 8 minutes. Keep in mind that there was no winner because it was an actual match. It wasn't an actual match. Rather, it was just a fight, which Aries clearly explained beforehand. It was odd that Aries took more shortcuts than Aces and Eights member, but at least he set it up by explaining himself beforehand. TNA showed good fire when calling the key spots in the brawl. He has to go into cheerleader mode during those segments, and he's doing a good job in that role. Match number 4, Zema Ion versus Sanjay Dutt. Yeah, they announced him as Sanjay Dutt. The last time he was in the ring, they were saying Sanjay Dutterson. Well, Dutterson is his name. And it is for the X Division title. And he's selling his shoulder injury with black tape on it. It's weird because there's nothing in between. It's just black tape on the shoulder. It's like, okay, take my shoulder out. Use it right there. Announcers reminded viewers that he had injured his shoulder during the Ultimate X match, in which Ion won the title. The crowd was slow to get into the match following the previous segment. To me, for athleticism, I'll give this a match of the night myself. During the slow moment into the match, a shot aired of police arriving in the impact zone as the announcers sold the Aces and Eights brawl from earlier. Ion got the majority of the early offense. Dutt came back with a moonsault off the second rope and on to Zema on the floor. Cool spot. Sanjay went for a head scissors off the ropes, but Ion caught him and powerbombed him. Later in the match, Ion applied a submission hold on Dutt's arm. Sanjay reached the bottom rope for Ion to break the hold, which he broke the hold about 4 count. Sanjay came back in and continued to sell the arm consistently, even while being on offense. They traded quick 2 counts. I positioned Sanjay on his back and slammed him down face first and got the pin. And that match took 10 minutes 40 seconds out of our lives to retain the X Division title. They had the disadvantage of not getting much TV time heading up into the pay-per-view. And they had to follow up with a big brawl. It wasn't a memorable match, but they had enough entertaining high spots to gain the crowd's interest. I was hoping the finish would involve Dutch shoulder injury, so we'd have more of an out for losing. Backstage, Hollywood Hogan told the cops or security or something to beat down Aces and Eights and lock the building down. How many cops and security guards does it take to lock down the Impact Zone? That's not the beginning of a joke. It's the real question. It's like they decided to bring back all the Aces and Eights members from the initial brawl, remove their mask, and then had to play cops and security guards. Well, that's not true either, because a lot of these guys were kind of real skinny, and some of them were even short. Even one guy had glasses on, looked like you ever seen Riptide, the TV show? One guy kind of looked like him, the one with glasses, the nerdy guy. Well, that's what he looked like. Backstage, Borash stood in front of the Hardy as trainers were attending to him. Borash said that there wasn't an update yet on Hardy's shoulder. Brutus Magnus showed up, and this was an added match. It said that Hardy was suffering from a severe lack of common sense. He said Hardy was in the finals of the BFG series, and he interjected himself. The Ace and Eights drama. Magnus said RVD let him in his head and would pay the price. So, match number 5, you got RVD versus Magnus. It took RVD less than 3 minutes to have this stupid thumb point routine backfire. In this case, he set up Magnus on the guardrail and pointed at himself. Van Dam finally jumped and Magnus rolled out of the way. Magnus remained in control for the next few minutes and applied a clover leaf at one point. Rob came back with a wild kick. He worked over Magnus's leg and performed Rolling Thunder for a 2. And went for a move off the ropes. Magnus brushed him aside. He learned nothing from RVD as he tried to play to the crowd, only to have Van Dam recover and stop him. RVD went for the monkey flip spot, but Magnus dropped him with a clothesline. Van Dam caught Magnus with another kick and then performed a 5-star frog splash for the win. And that match took 10 minutes and 5 seconds out of our lives. An entertaining match if it can get past the ongoing stupidity of the RVD babyface character. I don't have a problem with Magnus' cockiness coming back to haunt him because he's a heel, whereas RVD continued to look like the world's dumbest babyface. I'm not a fan of the finish. RVD seems Teflon in terms of losses affecting him, and Magnus really needs wins right now. Backstage segment, Borash interviews Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. They've been complaining about a variety of topics, including being forced by Hogan to defend their titles twice in 4 days. A video recap the Claire Lynch BS. We're getting tired of it. Get rid of it. End of it. Match number 6, you got the tag championship match. Christopher Daniels and Kazarian versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle for the TNA tag titles. Angle has been wrestling for the last week or so with a hamstring pull, I believe. Angle had his right thigh wrapped He started the match against Daniels. Taz says that Angle has an issue with his hamstring. TNA questioned whether it's a groin pull or not. Angle was limited to mostly punching and kicking before tagging out. There was a long stretch with Styles in the ring selling for the heels. He eventually made a hot tag to Angle, who performed a suplex on Daniels. Kazarian DDT'd Angle. The heels isolated Angle in the corner and worked him over at 11 minutes 30 seconds in the match. Angle came back by catching Kazarian on the ropes and throwing him off in a crowd-pleasing moment. Styles and Daniels tags in at 13 minutes 15 seconds. Styles gets the better of it and went for a cover, but Kazarian caught him with a great drop kick to the chest. Angle tags back into the match and climbed to the top rope and splashed Daniels for a 2 count. Angle performed Angle slams on both tag champs. He went for the cover on Daniels, who reached out and grabbed the rope to break the count. Angle applied the ankle lock on Daniels, but Kazarian ran in and caught Angle with a kick to the back of the head, back of the neck. Taz pointed out that Kazarian started the damage on Angle's neck with a DDT earlier. Later, Styles had a great flurry and hit a springboard flip, only to have Kazarian kick out, which was a great near fall. Styles sets up the top rope move on Kazarian, but Daniels interferes. Kazarian recovered and caught Styles with a kick. Kazarian performed a flux capacitor for another good near fall. As I had my buddy Andre over here watching it, he was asking, what type of move was that? I said, that's called a flux capacitor. I was saying, well, the match is almost over. Everybody's performed their finishers somewhat. Angle clotheslined Daniels over the top rope, and they both toppled to the floor. Angle came up, holding his thigh. Back inside the ring, Styles sets up the Styles Clash, nails it, but he was just about to nail it, but Daniels threw his opponent. Daniels grabbed a drink that he had earlier when he was on the way to the ring, and Andre had noticed that he gave a drink to a certain young lady in the crowd, and he later on gets that same drink and throws the in the face while the referee was tending to Angle, and Kazarian rolls up Styles and got the 3 count. And the match took 19 minutes, 20 seconds out of our lives, and the tag champs retain the titles. Wasn't as good as their Slammiversary match, but it was very good, especially considering the fact that Angle was injured. I don't think Angle aggravated the injury at the end, and it seemed like that was a setup for the referee checking on him. I like the finish because it gives Hogan another reason to book them in a rematch at Bound for Glory. I just wish Creative would have done a better job of setting up Styles and Angle as a team a while back. They have great matches, but there was a good story in there that was never told. And then they show highlights airing of the Bound for Glory series matches from earlier in the show. And the Aces and Eights attack. The announcers questioned what was up with Jeff Hardy's shoulder heading into the finals. Well, Hogan's backstage again, talking with the authorities outside the building who had arrived. He told them that it's the most important match of the night. He said that if Aces and Eights were going to a strike, this would be the match to do it in. He said that they now know their positions. They should cut anyone off and try to get inside the ring and drag them away and beat them up. Hollywood Hogan's authority in TNA apparently carries a lot of weight, since he can apparently give the police pep talks and even instructions. Backstage, JB is interviewing Bully Ray again, who said that the Aces and Eights antics have to stop. He said that there's a small part of them that feels bad for Jeff Hardy, He said it doesn't matter though because he was going to beat Hardy either way. Ray said it, whether the fans love him or hate him, they have to respect what he's done for over the last year and a half and how he's reinvented himself. Ray said he's not just bound for glory, he's destined for greatness. The cops come out and took their positions all around the arena and out inside the studio. Bully Ray makes his entrance. Taz put over the way Ray has changed his body and reinvented himself. His body still looks the same as it was in WWE. All he did was change his shirt. The 5150 shirt. Jeff Hardy's music played, but he didn't come out. Music played a second time, still didn't come out. Well, it paused, and Hollywood Hogan walked on the stage, headed to the ring, where Jerry Borash was waiting to handle the in-ring introductions. Hogan said that they have a problem. He said it actually comes down to him and Ray having a problem. And this segment was like 15 minutes long, which I knew it would be because the pay-per-view still had 30 something minutes left in it. And Hogan said he actually it has come down to him and Ray having a problem. Hogan said he should forget about what he saw on the chalkboard in the back. Must be script, huh? Hogan pointed out that Hardy wasn't out there. Ray said he agrees with Hogan that aces and eights attacks have to stop. He said the best thing that he did was call the cops. Ray said the tournament means the world to him, just as he knows it does to Hardy. He said that he has to hit Hardy's music and ring the bell. If he doesn't come out when they do what they have to do, talking about the ring the bell and start a 10 count. Well, Hogan said that if Ray really feels that way, the way he does, he won't let the referee make the count. He said that if he truly feels as he says, he'd give him 4 more days and then they would have the match on Impact. Well, that didn't set the crowd happy. They were going boo. That's what everybody pays the money for the pay-per-views. Ray took the mic away from Hogan. Ray said Hogan is Hogan and therefore he can have it back. Hogan said that Ray's legacy will be decided in that he's either a good man or a bad man. Hardy's music hit and he's on his way out to the ring with his shoulder taped and real heavily. Hardy walked around the ring gingerly and let the fans slap his good hand while selling his shoulder injury the entire time. Today said fans won't have to wait until Impact to see the match, as Hogan immediately left ringside. Jeff Hardy versus Bully Ray in the Battle for Glory Series Finals. Ray put up his fist and Jeff bumped fists with him to start the match. 120 powers, activate. Hardy held his arm at his side, tried to kick Ray. Taz said he's had shoulder injuries himself, and it's hard to explain the pain that shoots throughout your entire body when you have a shoulder injury. Hardy punched Ray with his good hand. Ray fired back with punches of his own, and then wrenched Jeff's good shoulder. Ray kicked the shoulder, and Hardy rolled to ringside. Taz said he couldn't blame Ray. Today said it's just business. Ray continued to kick Hardy's shoulder. Ray continued to target the shoulder and scored a near fall. The crowd was really flat. It was like boring in the match, but a brief "Let's go Hardy" chant started. Ray fired some really weak-looking punches at Hardy's shoulder in the corner, not really wanting to hurt him, because he didn't know if he was really hurt or not. And then ripped off the tape at 6 minutes 10 seconds of the match. Taz continued to defend Ray for targeting Hardy's shoulder. Then he abruptly said that Ray should hurry up and beat him already, because he's taking his time. The part of Taz's call fell out of nowhere, because it's not like Ray was punching Hardy. He was going for pins, and Hardy kicked out. It felt like Taz just completely changed direction in a matter of seconds. Hardy avoided a move, and they came back with punches, a kick, and a twist of fate. Hardy went for the top rope and performed the swanton. Ray kicks out at 2. Ray shoves Hardy into the corner and then dropped him with a bully bomb for a 2 count. At 9 minutes 20 seconds in, Ray hits the Bubba Cutter for a 2 count. A stronger Let's Go Hardy chant started. Hardy hit the twist of fate on Ray, and the fans cheered. Hardy went for the swanton and missed. Ray hit the Bubba Cutter again and got a 2 count at 10 minutes 25 seconds in. Hardy came back out of nowhere with 2 twists of fates. Hardy went for the corner and looked to the crowd and pumped his fist. Woo, woo, woo. Before going for the swanton, Ray recovered and punched Hardy while he was on the top rope. Ray went for the second rope, and traded punches to Hardy, who was seated at the top turnbuckle, getting ready for his swanton. Well, everybody knows what that was going, a superplex. Well, Hardy ended up king of the mountain on the ropes as he knocked him down. Knocked him down and performed the swanton in the middle of the ring and scored the clean pin. Jeff Hardy wins the Bound for Glory series, and this match took 12 minutes 25 seconds. And then you get a commercial airing for Bound for Glory. So you still don't count Bully Ray out of the BFC title match just yet. After all, Hardy is an ace attack away from being knocked out of the Bound for Glory title match, anyways. And then I could see Ray getting the nod as a second place finisher. I could also see a 3-way dance in Bound for Glory series. As it stands, Hardy will challenge a double for the TNA title at the pay-per-view. The match never got the crowd fired up until the surprise finish, but they told a good story with Hardy overcoming the injury. Speaking of which, Hardy did a really good job of selling the injury throughout the match. Hollywood Hogan's acting was really cheesy tonight. The cop instructional segments were ridiculous, and I don't think Anthony Hopkins could have made those work either. However, I didn't know where Hogan was going during his in-ring segment with Bully Ray, and I'm convinced that he didn't either. Overall, this was a solid in-ring show that was expected going on. I can't wait for TNA to get the hell out of the Impact Zone next month for Bound for Glory pay-per-view. The Impact Zone looked dark, and overexposed fans just don't bring the same enthusiasm that TNA gets outside of Orlando. Well, any comments? Just comment on the video in the comment section. As Rock would say, know your role, shut your mouth. And that's the bottom line, because the show is over. Stay tuned for tomorrow night's Raw results. That ends my results for the Bound for Glory the pay-per-view from tonight. Thank you and peace out.